welcome to my channel. I have a guest today here with me. This is Monique, my friend. Monique, what's your full name? Like, introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Monique Remenda. So happy to be here with you today in this lovely garden.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. So today we'll do something really heart-touching because Monique is my friend and we were like hanging out and we were talking about the pain of losing a pet, a soulmate pet. I was like, oh my gosh, you went exact through the same thing that I did when I lost my Dino. He was my soulmate and I was so heartbroken. I didn't know how to deal with it, and we were changing ideas, and I was like, hey, don't you want to be on my channel and talk how you cope with the grief of losing a pet? I know a lot of people who's grieving about their lost pet. There's no video about this right now out there. Yeah, so I want to like bring you this video to help you, what help us to get through pain and grief and how we cope with like losing a pet. So the first question is, Monique, what happened to you and like what type of pet did you have?
So I had a Poochie, which is a poodle chihuahua, and he was the love of my life. I had him for 9 years, and it was absolutely devastating. He's been gone now. It's coming up on 2 months now.
2 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fresh still.
Yeah.
Very
Oh
fresh.
yeah.
It's heartbreaking. I lost Dino 2016, and it was really a sudden death, and it took me probably like 8 months to get over it, and I'm still not over him. Like, I have all these new birds. I love them, but you know, Dino has a very special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Like,
Was Dino your first bird?
Dino was my first soulmate bird. He wasn't my first bird, but he was the first bird I fall in love with birds. He made me fall in love with birds because he was like something very exceptional and special. He will do like little funny tricks, and he was just like a gorgeous little like soulmate. Like, I never had a bird like him before, so he was so special to me, and that he just passed away so sudden and so quickly totally broke my heart. And I want to show you some video clips how I was coping with pain. I believe I need to be aware what's in my own heart. For the first time in my life, I started grieving. My heart hurts. It hurts so bad. There's no life, no point, no purpose. Dino was my whole life. He was my everything, and everything is now horrible without him. There's nothing I can do, just cry. Cry and lament. Cry and lament for Dino. I need to walk this out with my tears. My tears is my food day and night. So tell me about Besso?
Besso.
Besso. Tell me about Besso. Like, what happened that day?
So I was taking him for a walk like I always have. I've had him for 9 years. He was my very first puppy, and so I trust him, right? For those of us who have our wonderful, fur babies, we know that we can trust them in certain instances. And so he loved to run where we live. We live in a smaller home now. Before, he had a ½ acre and could run to his heart's content. He would love to like sprint, like go as fast as he can. And so I was walking him down this one street where cars never come by ever when I've walked him, and he did his thing. He did his poo and went to go throw his poo away, and he ran across the street when I was on the other side to come to me, because he saw me, that I was walking towards him, and he just started running towards me, and that's when a car came and
Did you saw the car coming?
The car was driving so fast down the street. It wasn't driving like a normal speed. The guy was speeding. And so he hit Besso.
And you saw that?
Yeah. I saw him get hit. I ran to find him. It was this big, like, SUV kind of a car, and Besso's a tiny little guy, and so I couldn't find him. I was looking under all of the car, and I finally found him under one of the tires, and so I picked him up in my arms and looked at him, and
was he still alive?
I'm not sure, because it seemed like he was still alive. But I was in such shock, I didn't know what's going on. I just know I need to go to my baby. I need to get him. I need to hold him. I need him to know that I'm here and I haven't left him. But I was shaking so much, I didn't know if I could hear his heartbeat or not. You know, there was someone else, there was a little family that was there, and I had to put him over to her and ask her, can you hear his heartbeat? Can you feel his heartbeat? Because I couldn't, because I was in such shock. And so he died in my arms. You know, I held him until he grew cold and stiff, and even past that, I couldn't let go of him. I knew it was going to be the last time I'd have him in my arms, and so I just held him until I couldn't anymore.
Oh my God.
So I held him for like 7 hours straight.
You carry him back home?
I carried him back home, and this lovely family that I believe was sent by God, because I couldn't walk. First of all, I couldn't talk. I really couldn't talk. I couldn't say any word. Like nothing would come out because I was in a state of shock. And I couldn't walk. So this family literally kind of carried me and walked me while I held Besso in my arms to my house. Yeah, and then
Did you call Brett?
So I called my husband, and he was at work, so he came as soon as he could, and so I just laid on my lawn in the front of my house, just crying and holding Besso. Because I couldn't even, the people walked me to my lawn, but I couldn't even get up to walk into my house. Like, I didn't have the coordination.
The energy, all the strength.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
It was
it's kind of
really
like
hard.
if a pet soulmate die, like the pet just didn't die, you die with them, basically. It's like your whole life just comes shattering down, and it's just that felt with me like when Dino left me. I was there, I was holding him, the vets turned us all down, he was throwing up, and I didn't know what to do. I just come out, gonna nursery at home, and I put him in his little box, and he couldn't even lift his head anymore. And I just look at him and says, no, please don't leave me. And then I just saw how he just breathed his last breath, and how his spirit just flew away, and then he was just one more small and then he was just really warm with open eyes, and then he was gone. And I was like, no, this is not happening, this is not real. I couldn't believe it, and my whole life was crumbling down, shattering. I didn't know what to do, just scream and cry, and it's so painful, and all what I wanted was to die with him in that moment.
Yeah, that's how I felt with Besso. I didn't care who was around. There's a lot of homes and stuff where it happened, and I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, and I was wailing. It wasn't even just crying, it was wailing, because it hurt
from
my body depths. From inside out, it hurt so bad. First of all, the experience to see the love of my life get hit by a car, I saw it, I saw it happen
right in front of you.
So that was really traumatic.
Right.
And
then seeing him going away.
Yeah. That was heart-wrenching. I've never experienced anything quite like that, and I hope to never experience anything like that again. That was really hard, but at the same time, the guy who hit Besso, when he came out and I was running to look for him, for Besso, I told the guy, I was like, it's not like I had an opportunity. I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation with you. It was just like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, you know, because Besso shouldn't have run across the street.
But he was speeding, though.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, you know, that I found is that people just, unless it's yours, your pet, people don't care.
They don't relate
as much as you do, or even they don't care. We had called the police, and the police said to call a veterinarian. And what's a veterinarian gonna do?
Nothing.
No, and I'm not gonna be on the phone calling these people when I have my baby in my arms. Yeah, I can't. I couldn't function.
More negativity.
Exactly, and try and explain what happened. I was just like, I just need to be with my son, and that's what matters right now.
And that's also what like it's so significant. You don't call your dog just a pet, or he's just a dog. He's your son. He's your child. He's like your soulmate. He's like more than a new puppy or like a friend's puppy. He was like your own kid, you know. So that was even more like painful for me too. Like it was like my soulmate, my companion, my best friend just left me. It was so painful. So like what happened once he got stiff and cold? Like what did you do next, like the next day basically?
Well, I knew I didn't want to what is that when they
necropsy, cremation?
I didn't want to cremate him, you know. My parents own a home, and I've lost a couple of pets before, and we've buried him in the backyard, and so I knew I wanted Besso buried in the backyard with our other pets. So
in a one whole piece.
Yeah, exactly. So we drove, me and my husband, well, before we went to my parents' house, I decided where we would take him for walks. He loved to stop and smell the flowers. He just loved to. It was just his thing. And so I decided, let's go and pick his favorite flowers. And then we'll put it on his grave. And so we went the route that we would go walking, and we pulled the flowers. And as we were pulling the flowers, they smelled so beautiful. I'm like, no wonder he stopped and smelled these. There was lavender, and there was rosemary that he would stop and smell. Like, these were beautiful scents. And so I was like, and it just made me fall even more in love with him, because he just appreciated life. He appreciated life. He appreciated the things in nature that we, you know, as humans don't necessarily appreciate all the time, because that's what he did. I mean, he's lower to the ground, so he can smell those things, and he has a heightened sense of smell that we don't necessarily have, and so it just gave me a huge appreciation, even more of just the wonderful being that he is.
So you bury him right the next day? Like
that same day I buried him.
Same day?
Yeah, because I thought, he can't just stay in my home like this. Like, what am I going to do? I wouldn't be able to sleep, you know.
Did you sleep that night at all?
It was really, I cried myself to sleep. I've never cried as much as I cried that day. I cried from the moment it happened until I went to bed. So from 11:30 in the morning until, you know, 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And I woke up the next morning in pain, like my entire body from crying so much. I was just sore everywhere, and I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to eat anything. I wasn't in a state to eat anything. I just was.
It was like life just stops.
Yeah.
Like life is not important. Everything is just like chasing a wind. And you are kind of like in this bubble where just life just stops completely, and you are just like, nothing is more important than my Besso or my Dino, or like you can put in the gap of your pet, like, and then you have to like get the courage to like move on after that. But you know what really like hits me? Like I cried a whole night through as well, and I couldn't sleep the night. I was waking up and I couldn't believe Dino was not here anymore. I couldn't believe it. Didn't go in my mind that he was just gone, just like that, gone. And so suddenly and so fast. So I was like, what should I do now without Dino? What would my life looks like without Dino? What should I like? How should I exist without Dino? What should I like do? Like, I don't have anything living for anymore once he was gone. And then the next day, I mean, I held him also till he was stiff, and I couldn't let him go. And then I was on the phone with my friends, and they tried praying through the phone, and I'm just like crying. And I know for me, like, the next day was just emptiness, still an emptiness, and I had no more tears to cry. I cried like all night, like you, and I was just empty out. I couldn't even. I wanted to cry. The cry impulse was there, but there was no tears anymore. And then everything reminds me like Dino. Like when I go in the bathroom, he would sit here. He would play with this while I brush my teeth. If I go in the living room, he would do this while I'm doing this. You know. And then there's signs like his toys and his feathers and his perches where I will put him when in a table perch when I make breakfast, and it was all empty. It was just all empty.
Yeah, I experienced that with Besso as well. It was really hard to be at home because everything in that house was a reminder of Besso. From the moment I'd wake up, he knew I was awake, so he's ready, go into my bed, like ready to, want to be petted and wanted to love me. I wanted to get up on the bed, and everywhere I went, it's that same thing. He followed me around wherever I went. Even when I was doing work, he was so cute. He had this cute little dog bed, and
that was really tragic. And so the next question, what I wanted to ask you is like, how did you grieve? Like after he was gone, like how did you grieve? And what did you do?
Well, grieving for me was like it came in waves. So that first day, it was all day. And then, waking up in the morning, what I did is I just allowed myself to feel whatever it was. Whatever heartache, whatever despair, anger, all the ranges of emotions that come with grief. Anger is a part of it, of course, deep sadness. There's then moments of when you just kind of relive the wonderful memories that you had with them. It's the full spectrum. And so I gave myself permission to feel all of those things and not push those emotions deep down and not numb out with, alcohol or any other types of things that we can do to numb out. We can numb out with social media, we could numb out with Netflix. There's so many different things. And I know that those are not healthy ways because I have grieved unhealthily before when I lost my grandfather. And when I lost my grandfather, I went into a tailspin of trying to numb out and not feel. And it was very, very bad, and it actually led me into a tailspin of terrible type of coping habits that I almost led to my demise, really. It led me in a really dark place. And so I knew this time from experiencing that and going through the negative way to cope, the unhealthy way, I should say, to cope and grieve, I decided, no, I'm going to grieve the right way. And something that helped me with this, that I think might be helpful for some of your viewers, I went through this program, but you don't have to go through the program. It's a book, and the book is called Grief Recovery. And in this book, and you can find it for like real cheap on Amazon, but with this book, what it helps you to do is understand what grieving looks like, and also how we've been taught to grieve in our own families or even our own cultures, how they grieve, and how sometimes it's not the healthiest way to cope, or what people say to us, right? I'm sure for some of us who've experienced loss, some of the things we hear are, oh, well, just go get another one and you'll be fine. You'll get over it. Oh, you should feel okay. I mean, they're in heaven now, or they're in a better place, you hear. And for those of us who have lost our babies, our fur babies.
Our feathered babies.
Our feathered babies. Any of our wonderful creatures, our wonderful beings, you know, our companions. We know that that is not helpful.
Yeah.
To hear they're in a better place. To hear, oh, just get another one.
Yeah.
That doesn't help in the process.
Yeah.
And so I would say to anyone out there who's watching and is like, how do I help one of my friends who's lost, you know, one of their companions? I would say just be there for them. Just be someone, a shoulder to cry on, a person that can just hold them as they cry,
just
to hug them.
Just be there.
To just be there so they know they're not alone.
You don't need to say anything.
Exactly.
Just be there with your presence.
Because you'll never know what it feels like because you didn't have that special relationship with that wonderful being like that person did, like we did.
Yeah.
You know, even though you lost your Dino and I lost Besso, and they were our babies, I'll never truly understand how much it hurt you. Yeah. And you'll never truly understand how much it hurt me because it was a special relief. Yeah, there's empathy, and we can always provide empathy, but I feel it's never okay to be like, I know exactly what you're feeling, because I don't.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a special relationship that you had with Dino, just like my special relationship with Besso. And I think too often times when people say things like that to us, then we find ourselves getting annoyed at that person because it's like, you don't know, you don't get it.
Go. I want to be alone.
Yeah.
Like, take off.
And then we want to isolate, right? And that's not healthy either. Because I think good friends are able to be with you in the mess.
Yeah.
I actually had a really good friend. I had dinner with her last night, and she was telling me that people are worth the mess. We can be messy. Things are not going to be perfect. And grieving is one of those things that is messy.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was crying and I just had snot like coming, it was just everywhere. It was all on me. It's like I had been slimed because I was just so
in pain.
In so much pain, and I didn't care. I didn't care that my mascara was down my face. I didn't care I had, you know, snot everywhere. This was me grieving. And so that really helped me because I can sit here now 2 months after he's gone on, and I like to say he's in paradise, that I am almost not crying. Like I still get brought to tears, but it's not like, oh, I can't talk about this.
Right.
I can talk about Besso. I can celebrate his life because he was an amazing lover of animals and people, like and especially people. He loved people. So he would just love to go to people. He just knew exactly what they needed, and he would just love on them. And that's all he wanted to do. Besso never barked. Wow. He was just like, cool. He's like, hey, you're my friend, I'm your friend, like let's hang out. And so one of the other things that helped me in my grieving process was, okay, how do I give honor to Besso? If I can honor him in my life in the things that I do, that will help me because it's like he's always with me. And so since Besso was such a lover of people, I thought, okay, if I can love people like he did. You know, if I could even try. I mean, there's days when I'm not good at it, but I think about it. I'm like, what would Besso do? Like, how would Besso have loved this person? You know, that helps me always remember that a piece of him is with me. You know, I truly believe that, and I truly believe that when I move on to the next life, that for me it's heaven. I believe that we'll be together, you know, and he'll remember me and know me. And I feel like even now, like he's out there enjoying his life and eating a whole entree of things and it not being detrimental to his health, you know, and that brings me a lot of peace and solace knowing that he's just enjoying his life. And it took me a long time to get there because I was like, no, he's not with his mama, so he is not happy. You know, so
you had him since a baby, right?
Yeah, since he was out of his mom. Once he was able to get nursed off of his mom, I went and visited him first when he was born, and then when he was finally, you know, when he's healthy to be away from his mama, he came with me, and so I've had him.
Half of your, I mean, it's almost a decade, 9 years. All this energy, this love pouring into this beautiful little fur baby, and now all of a sudden it's like 9 years of intense relationship just like vanish
Yeah.
in the air like that.
And I went through a really, like, my life 9 years ago was really rough. So he's seen me through the hardest of times in my life. And so that was even more difficult, knowing
when
that
nobody was there for you.
That's right.
He was there.
He was there.
That was the same with me and Dino. When nobody was there for me, when I came home all by myself, he was the first person I saw who jumped around to greet me, to love on me. When I was crying, he would come and lick my tears and sit right on here my chest and just kiss and nip my lip, you know.
Yeah.
He was the first thing I see in the morning and the last thing I see at night. And when I say good night, he's like, good night. And he jumped down my bed, and he had this little box under my bed. He was sleeping. That was the box he chose to sleep in. And his cage was the safe place. It was always open. He was never caged. And he was the only bird I had, like a little, like, you know, little larky, like angel.
Aww.
And he was the sweetest. And in the morning, like, he jumps out of his bumper under my bed, and I hear his tippy tap, like that. And then he comes and he's like, hello.
Oh my God,
and
so cute.
And then I say, come, Dino. And he jumps up my hand, and the trash was right next to my bed. I say, poo poo. He poops on command. And then I cuddle with him, and he knew exactly the position of my face and my lips and my hand to snuck right in between, so I can scratch him with with my finger, my index finger, and kiss him like right here. He knew exact the same position
so
where
cute.
to like kind of like be, and we will sleep like this for the next 2-3 hours till I have to wake up and go work, you know.
Yeah.
So I totally understand when like he was gone and so empty. And I remember like getting the text like, you know, Betso's gone, he just got killed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so heartbroken for you right now. I was so sad. I was like, this is horrible. This is really horrible, because you know, other people can't understand the impact that has in your life, and also your life will change forever. It won't be the same anymore after this day.
Yeah, it's really hard. And even, I'm sure, you know, you think about, okay, well, should I, because it's so quiet in this house, should I get another, you know, pet? And I was kind of on that train. I was like, I can't be alone. And he was my coping mechanism. And so I was like on that road. I was like looking at all these other animals and stuff. And I thought, you know, it's not the right time right now. I was like, I want to give him some honor and not do that right away. And that's not to say it's bad to go and get another one. I just, after the dust settled, I was like, let me see how I can cope on my own without him. Like, maybe there's like something happened. Maybe I'm getting called to something a newer way to cope, a newer way, a newer level to rise to. So I was just thinking about that, you know. But I also just thought, well, Besso wouldn't want me to be alone. He'd want someone else to be there. But I just decided for me that was a good option, just to wait. I know I definitely am going to get another dog. Definitely. I'm just trying to find out the right timing for that. Because I'm such a dog lover. And I love birds. I love your birds are amazing. I'm just, you know, some of us are bird people, some of us are dog or cat or reptile people.
But we're all pets. We love animals, and that's what binds us together. You know, you went through a tragic, incident. I went through a tragic incident with my pet, and you know, we have the same experience that binds us together and that we share. Yeah. And what I wanted to say was once Dino died, I was crying on the phone, and people were like, oh, just there was one person who I adored, and the way how cold she was just kind of make me see who she was really in those times when people are not there for you and you thought they would be there for you, just shows them who they really are, and I mean, my whole family is back in Germany. I'm here by myself. Dino was my soulmate, and now that has been taken from me. And then this person who I thought she's one of my good friends was oh, just grieve for next 3 days and then just get back to work, you know, like, don't you have any work to do? Can you just move on?
No.
And it was so painful and hurtful to hear that out from somebody's mouth that I really appreciated, even because like this person was the first person I called when Dino died.
Right.
And she came also over and she saw me wailing and crying and being in the state of like she's never seen me before.
Right.
Like I was so weak. I was like I just felt like I just couldn't be anyone. I just wanted to die with Dino in that moment. But like when people say, "Oh, just get a new one, just get a new one. It's just a bird, or it's just a dog, or it's just a cat, just get a new one." It's just like I know where they're coming from. They're coming from a good place, but that pet or our soulmate pet is not replaceable.
That's right.
And that's the thing what I want to like put out there. Like Dino was exceptional. He was the only Dino he could be.
That's right.
Besso was the only Besso you'll ever be. If you get a new pet, it will be nice. They will look the same, but it's not the same.
That's right.
Character, personality, everything is different. It's like starting fresh, like from zero. I got I think 2 weeks after Dino died, I got Angel. I couldn't be alone because my heart was so in pain and my whole house was so quiet. And I didn't have family here, so everything was just horrible. And I need somebody to listen to somebody purring or like, you know, walking or calling me. And I just decided to open back my heart for a new bird. And I wanted another lorikeet, and I got Angel. And Angel was also a baby, but he's not like Dino. He was the opposite. He has like tantrums. And he is like funny and cute, but he's not as cuddly as Dino, or he looks like Dino, he smells like Dino, but he's not Dino. But I love him with another heart, you know, and another like place.
Yeah, I feel you're touching on something very important there, which is that all creatures have a spirit.
Yeah.
And so Dino's spirit was unique to him and individualized to him, just like Besso's spirit's individualized to him. We can never replace our pets that we've lost.
Right.
But and understanding that if for me, if I got another puppy, for instance, I can't expect that this puppy is going to be Besso, act like Besso, love me like Besso loved me, have the same cute little quirks, because it's just like you. You're not me. We're different people, so we're gonna act and do things differently.
My bird different, like you raised Besso different, so he's a different personality. Then
exactly,
it's all unique.
I think it's important for us to remember that whatever wonderful creature that we have the honor of loving and that loves us back, that we honor who they are and what they are, and not try and pre-impose the other from our other creatures that we've had before, and now like, well, you don't do things the way that Besso did them. Why can't you be a better dog? It's like, well, because they're their own being, and
don't compare.
Don't compare. Don't compare to them, and don't compare even to yourself, because remembering that they're their own unique little spirit.
Yeah, and what really also helps me was like, I read a quote which says like, the scar won't go away, but the pain will. So there will be always a scar that Dino is gone. There will be always a scar that Besso is gone. But the pain will heal, but it will never heal away. That there is a scar, and it's okay, because scars who we are in life. We have to go through shit, and just to become who we are today. We had to go through all these things in life and circumstances, overcome them, so that we are here right now, and otherwise we won't be here. We'll be in a different place.
Besso has a piece of my heart that will never be given away to anyone. He'll always have that part of my heart. And our hearts are huge, so there's always room for more. But he will always have that piece, and I'll never give it away to anybody. or anything else.
Yeah, and I was like, also when Dino died, I was like, I will never ever love another bird like him ever again. You know, that was like my thing. There will be no bird I can give my whole love like I gave to Dino, and I wanted to close up my heart. But when I got Angel, I was like, I choose love again. I choose to give again my heart away. I choose to let this little bird comes in my life because I know I have something to give.
Yeah.
So I wanted like another bird because I didn't want to get shut up because this depression was so strong over me. And I remember like sitting in my car and I couldn't do anything. All what I can do was think about Dino. And it was like a cloud.
Yeah.
And the thing what helped me with grieving, like, it was like to say, like, once after a week or so, this depression and this cloud was always following me like a bad luck thing. And I noticed, like, I was so sad. So I was like, you know what? And I had to stand firm. I was like, I don't know what it is, but I don't want this depression. And I just talked to her and I was like, depression, go away right now. I don't want you. I reject you. And I cast you out. Get away from me. And then all of a sudden, pew, that cloud just disappeared.
Yeah.
It went away. And I was like, wow. And then I could be happy again. And my heart started to open up again. But it was like a depression spirit that came over me because I gave it permission to cloud my mind after he died. And that's what the thing I want also to say to grieve healthy is, like, if you grieve healthy, you know, you can grieve unhealthy. Like my friend, she's cutting herself. She's like, she wants to see blood to see like she's alive and stuff like that. But that's all unhealthy. It's not good for you. And that's when you let other spirits come to dictate you, and it will pull you down, drag you down, and then other circumstances will come and it will get worse and worse and worse until you really take your life. And you know, that's all what it takes.
I agree. I mean, that's like when I lost my grandpa and I was numbing out and using drugs and alcohol, and it was not healthy. I went down a really bad, dark path because of it, because I didn't know how to grieve healthy. And so if anything that anyone can take away from what we're chatting about today, I hope it's okay to feel these intense emotions, because that's what grief is. It's normal. Know that it's normal to feel them on such an intense level. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a part of the process, and it's not just like you grieve for a week and it's over. It's still it's been 2 months, and there's days when I think about Besso. I just saw a movie. I saw the Avengers movie, and there was a part in the movie, I won't do a spoiler alert, but there was a part in the movie when someone passes away, and it was just like how I lost Besso in a way. And so it triggered me, and I went back to that point, and I was very upset. And there's just going to be things like that happen. We're going to get triggered as we're processing it. And I think it's just healthy to allow ourselves to feel it and to say, okay, right now I'm feeling sad because that made me think of Besso. So what can I do? So this is what helps me, like I said. What can I do to honor Besso so that I feel better about this? So I'm not just walking around with that dark cloud over me. Because we can do that, right? But we know they're not coming back, unfortunately. So it's just like, how do we turn this into a way to honor their life? You know? So, yeah, I mean, in grief process, even after losing my grandpa, for instance, I'm still grieving him over 10 years later. It's just the way it is.
Stops lamenting.
Yeah, it's just there's always going to be a part when you're going to get reminded of them, and it might touch you in a certain way, and it's okay to feel those things because we're human beings. And we experience, that's the beautiful thing, is we experience these types of emotions. That's
what I think too, like, you need to feel those emotions like raw. Like, don't drug yourself in drugs or like alcohol. Like, it has a reason why you are so sad. And you have to feel it, and it makes you stronger when you come out of it after the process. And then once you kind of like, you know, you kind of like go like through there's a saying, like, if you go through like steel, you'll become tougher or something. there's like, I don't know, a Bible verse, you know, like you have to be a diamond to get shape or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I know the process of even becoming like a pearl, for instance, is it's going against the sand, and it's, you know, finally until it becomes this beautiful pearl, there's in the process, it's not easy, it's painful, but in the end,
it's this beautiful pearl that every like rubbing was worth it because it was like beautiful. Yeah. So grieving is really important. You need to grieve. You need to lament for your lost pet. But grieve the healthy way. Don't grieve the unhealthy way where you want to hurt yourself. If those things and thoughts come in your mind, cast it away. Say, no, that's not me. I'm going to grieve the healthy way. Also, what really helps me was to get down the road new birds, and I did get Angel, and I thought to myself, this will never happen to me again. I don't want to feel this pain that I felt with Dino. So I got Angel, and then Destiny, and then Faith, and then Hope. So I was like, if one dies, I will have still 3 others to live and to love me. So that's how this whole like, you know, process started, and then my YouTube channel started. You know, so something old had to die for something new to arise. And I feel like, you know, if Dina wouldn't have died, I wouldn't have this YouTube channel. I wouldn't have like do bird content. I wouldn't have Hope, Love, Destiny, and Angel and Our Glory. You know, it would be me and Dino still like this all the time, just us being private. Yeah, so it has a reason. Everything in life has a reason. I don't know yet your reason why Betso died, but it has a reason. And, you know, you are not alone in this.
Yeah, thank you. I think you touched on a good point there, that when we have so much love to give, sometimes it's, you know, me thinking, because I raised Besso so well. Like, he was so good, such a good dog. And I just thought, I can do this for another dog. I can bring like a dog that's in a shelter that's about to be euthanized into my home and love it with all of my love. You know, maybe it came from a home where it was abused or neglected. And I'm going to have all the attention on this wonderful dog. And, instead of it being so timid and nervous, I can
give love.
Yeah, and it can feel free to run around and do whatever it wants to do. And now I get an opportunity to love another wonderful creature. And it also
gives you kind of like empathy to not just other creatures, but also like to appreciate what you have. Appreciate the time you had with Betso, and to also like, if somebody's grieving or sad, or it makes you humble, your heart change. And there's also a Bible verse that says like, it's better to grieve and to be sad, because the person will be changed and it will be for your best, than to be in a place of happiness, because in the happiness there's no change whatsoever. So grieving is part of life. And you will have empathy to feel for other people and for other pets, and to remember right now, if you live in the now, that this time and moment is special, and it will never come back ever again. This time where you kiss Besso and play with him or cuddle with him or love with him, that was a special moment that will never come back again.
It's true.
And that was in the past. But, you know, now you can get another dog and you are still alive. And that's also another thing I want to touch about, because, you know, you didn't kill yourself, or because I wanted to kill myself. I was like, I want to go. There's no life for me. But there is a life for me. It's always better to live than to die, because we are the living, and the living can go out and make history rather than to be in the grave and be dead and there's nothing. It's all quiet. It's nothing there. The dead cannot do history or
impact people's lives,
people's lives.
Love on other people.
It's gone. It's nada. It's vorbei. It's finito.
And you know, there's another thing that people can do aside from allowing themselves to feel the emotions, and it's important to call someone that you care and you trust to be there with you in the process, or a couple of people, or your family members, or whomever you think will understand. So Another great thing that's out there, aside from us allowing ourselves to feel our emotions and having someone to walk alongside of us that's going to truly understand, are pet loss support groups.
Interesting.
So as I was going through my grieving process, I typed that in because I was like, there's got to be something. And they're actually all over the country. And so if you Google pet loss support groups, you'll find some in your area.
Yeah.
And it's where people get together who have gone through what you've gone through, loss. And it's just to be around people, to be supported, that understand, who've been through it, that are pet lovers.
Yeah.
And it's just it's an awesome opportunity to gain some support.
Nice.
In that area.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So to wrap it all up and to recap, like, what would you advise to our viewers in kind of like 10 short sentences? Advice, like, recap. Like, what's your advice?
If you've lost your love of your life, your pet, my advice would be, first, I want to say I know that it hurts really bad, and I'm sorry that it happened to you, but your life matters, and you can bring another wonderful pet your love. You can bring another wonderful pet your wonderful, loving environment. And so as you go through the process of grieving, allow yourself to feel whatever those intense emotions are. Really get someone in your corner, or a couple of people who understand, that you can call, that can come over to your house so you're not all alone. That's what I did for the first week. People were always at my house.
Wow.
I couldn't even cook for myself, so my best friend came over and did that. So have someone that you know, if you can, that can help you do those things. And then just ask yourself, how can I honor my pet that's gone on? How can I still keep a piece of them with me? And if you journal, if you draw, if you write poetry, like, any of these things are going to be a wonderful, great outlet for you in the grieving process. So it's not just the sadness. It's not just sometimes I just felt like breaking things, because I was so upset. It's
Did
not
you actually break things?
I think I threw something down. I was just really upset. Because we feel anger. It's a real emotion during the grieving process, and that's okay. It's okay to feel angry, guys. It's okay to feel sad. But find another outlet for it as well. Maybe it's even working out, if that's your thing. If it's not your thing and you write poetry or you paint, and also kind of having for me, it was helpful to have a little something in the home that still is like where Besso's place is. So it's not like everything gets removed. And for some of you, maybe you find like, no, I just need to get rid of it all. But I would invite you to really think about that, because I feel it's really helped me. I have some pictures up of him. So he's still there with me.
Yeah.
He hasn't, yes, I can't feel him, but his spirit is still with me.
Yeah.
And just knowing that their spirit is still with you. If you really close your eyes and you think about it, you'll feel their spirit.
Yeah.
I truly believe. Once we've kind of gone into the healthy way of grieving, we'll begin to experience.
I remember like it took me a year to like clear out Dino's corner or his bed or his cage. Just because I still needed it. I needed it there.
Yeah.
And then once I had all my other birds, Destiny, Hope, Love, and Faith, I was like, okay, after a year, I was like, I'm finally okay to let it go. And I kind of like clear out that area. But it took me a year. I agree. Like right now, my advice is, if you have a bird or a pet or a cat or a dog, whatever you love so much, that you say this pet is my soulmate, treasure every single moment with it. like if you cuddle it and play with it, just like kind of immerse yourself with this in the time, in the moment with this pet right now, because one day you don't know what happened, you know, and you'll have the memories of it. Like I noticed after Dino was gone, it was like, life is so short. You need to stop and smell the flowers, like Besso did. You need to stop, not just work and work and work, come home and pay bills and work. Oh, he's there. Oh, I need to feed them, you know, but no, enjoy the moment. Give it a bath in the garden, or like just, you know, give it a bath in the cage, or I don't know, or just like enjoy the time you have right now with your pet. And then if that happened to you, if your pet passed away, me too, I'm sorry. It's sad, but there's a life after this whole grieving. You are not alone. Go look for help, and you know, it will get better. It will. But just one thing, don't go down the unhealthy way that spirals you downwards to destruction, because that won't help you. There's so many other pets that need your love right now, and you are so special and precious that you have so much love to give. So I just encourage you to go out and seek a pet that needs love and just give them your love. And as Monique said, like, you know, open back your heart for another pet, rescue another pet, and just give it your love. Because don't close yourself up and say, no, I got hurt, my heart got hurt, I don't want to love anymore anything. What is if it dies and I get hurt again? That's the wrong approach. You need to open up for love and for a new day and for life, because life is beautiful, and you know, everything what matters in life is happiness. So make yourself happy, make your pet happy, and make others happy. So thank you so much for watching it. If you like this, give us a big thumbs up, and comment below, let me know what you think about Monique experience. You want to add something?
No, just thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for showing up and do this video with me.
Well, bye guys.
Bye.